This is going to be a sea change in terms of even being able to open bank accounts and do other transactions. It really is going to just require one ID, not multiple IDs. People have to walk. I'm trying to get my insurance. And my own House of Parliament is telling me that I have to do my driver's license, passport, and birth certificate. Those days have to be over. One ID should be sufficient, and we are building in the back end to make sure it is secure and it can be trusted. So going forward, that is the next step that we will be really pushing hard, and we want all the support of not only the government offices, but the private sector. So I was very pleased to see all the private sector leaders here today, and you have already been acknowledged. The Court Administration Division is using a digital signature product, Sign Easy, cautious about embracing digital transactions. Recognizing this challenge, the government of Jamaica acted, and in 2007, Jamaica enacted the Electronic Transactions Act, a landmark legal milestone that for the first time provided a comprehensive framework to govern electronic communications, records, and signatures in a way that promotes trust, legal certainty, and technology neutrality. So I want to pause for a minute to acknowledge the then Minister, the Honorable Philip Paulwell, who was the Minister of Industry, Technology, Energy and Commerce at the time, who piloted this bill through Parliament, and the opposition spokesman at the time, Mr. Clive Mullins, who supported the bill. Looking back at the Hansard, I was delighted to see the bipartisan acknowledgement that the legislation was critical for a world where transactions are now driven by technology. So from 20 years ago, almost 20 years ago, the intention was for Jamaica to keep up and keep abreast of what was happening in the ease of digital transactions. The Act of 2007 affirmed that electronic records are legally equivalent to paper records, and that electronic signatures can be recognized and relied upon, provided they meet certain reliability criteria. But legislation alone does not create change, and that is why we are here today launching the e-transactions policy as a national initiative. What I've discovered about, especially the public service, is that there's a strong thing called CYA. And so you can pass the laws, but if you don't ensure that the regulations and the policy make it clear that persons have cover to make changes, it just won't happen at a pace that makes sense. So I'm very happy, is Mr. Benjamin here, anybody from Finance Ministry, to see that today we have the electronic transactions policy that will guide the implementation of the Electronic Transactions Act. And I'm especially pleased that this policy is in place, because I remember last month when I asked for this policy, I was told that it would take 2 years. And I said, I think there's a miscommunication because I expect 2 weeks. And I'm very happy to see that the memo, got the memo, and it was done within 4 weeks. So it's a good compromise. 2 years ago, I was in Washington, and I was approached by some investors. I got very excited about what they wanted to do because it would involve training and a lot of our potential engineers. And I flew down to have them come and go with me to JAMPRO. And then I heard all the difficulty of getting a company registered the same day or the next day and getting a bank account opened within one visit. And I said, this has to change. So I can't tell you how pleased I am to be here, to be moving this change forward. Thank you. And I'm also happy to see our Bankers Association represented, because as the government moves forward, this requirement of the banks that you must fly from wherever you are to get a wet signature, that has to go. So we are all going to be moving in the same direction. Because one I haven't gotten to you as yet, but a big pain point in this country is the banks not moving as fast as we need in this modern society. So we are going to do some work together. But today, we are implementing the electronic signature and the electronically signed records policy. This establishes that the government of Jamaica standard governing of the lawful, secure, and auditable use of electronic signatures and electronically signed records in the conduct of official business. In accordance with the Electronic Transactions Act, a signature or record shall not be denied legal effect solely because it is in an electronic form. The primary objectives of the policy are to establish a standardized, risk-based framework for the use of electronic signatures, promote authentication, integrity and accountability and auditability of electronic transactions, improve efficiency, business continuity, and reduce reliance on paper-based processes, ensure alignment with the Electronic Transactions Act and related legislative requirements. The policy, which will be made available by the Ministry of Finance and Public Service, categorizes electronic signature methods as follows: authenticated